Special meeting of the Finance Committee to order. There are a couple things that Marty has asked for. So I don't know if you want him to go first and. Sure. Okay.
Thank you. I would imagine everybody's gotten my memo. When I was going through the budget, I did miss one item that was obviously getting a vehicle for the drug investigator. He's going to have to, or she's going to have her own vehicle. As you can tell, we do have money available in this vehicle reserve account, so my recommendation would be able to take it out of there. We can get a lease agreement through Enterprise Leasing where we have our other lease vehicles for, and the lease agreement for the year is just under $4,900. So that would take care of that issue. The second issue comes up is that there's not enough money in the $70,000 for the two vehicles that I've wanted to budget for squad cars. My plan for 2017 was to get rid of one squad and keep one of the other squads, so we go from 17 up to 19. That would include the drug investigator's car plus the new patrol car. Reason for this is that we currently have 6 vehicles that the patrol officers are using. From time to time, they're down, they're used for training, they're used for transports, or if we have accidents like we've had this year, we're getting short. Officers are having to go and borrow from the supervisors on duty, but or when the supervisor is not on duty, but even if they're not on duty, if their vehicle is being used, we've had to double up on occasion. So my hope is that we get up to 7 patrol vehicles for the patrol officers to use so that they're available when they're out on duty. That might seem like a large amount, but at sometimes we could have anywhere from 3 officers out to 5 officers out on patrol at any one time. And if you have 1 or 2 vehicles that are either out or gone for training, it makes it a tight situation for patrol. So now the reason I'm asking for this increase is that to outfit a brand new car, it costs about $45,000. I've got enough in there to get it close, but I'm about $13,000 to $14,000 behind. That's why I'm asking for this increase of about $15,000 just to make sure that I can outfit this new vehicle correctly.
Marty, is it past practice that we would use impounded cars or repoed cars from in the past for drug investigators?
If we got a vehicle that we've taken in that we can use towards a drug car, we could do that. The vehicles that we've gotten in some of those cases aren't worth maybe $500. They're junk for the most part. We haven't gotten those really nice cars like I've seen in other cities. So we've got a couple vehicles that we've got impounded right now, but I don't even think they're drivable.
Okay.
Do you change the leases on the vehicle for the investigator every year? So it's a different car?
It's a 3-year lease currently right now.
Is it the same car every year? Or
Well, no, we change it up. We have 3 new vehicles. We have 3 vehicles that we lease right now. They're all 3 totally different. And then when the lease comes up again, my plan is to get 3 different vehicles with different colors, so we change up what those vehicles look like.
Devin, where's the police part of the
Tab 8, I think. Yeah.
tab 8?
Marty, so let me get this straight just from my head. You're asking for more money because you've got to outfit, you're going to pull some of the equipment out of an existing car and put it in the rental, and then you'll have the two new ones you've got to...
What happens is that we're going to be getting, I budgeted for 2 new sedans, which are Ford Tauruses. The one vehicle that we're getting rid of is a Ford Crown Victoria. Some of that equipment, the radios, the light bar, the radar unit, and so forth, the computers, that stuff will transfer into the car. But the cage won't, the back seat won't, some of the lighting won't because it's a different body style. So that's going to cost me extra money. And because we're not taking another car out of the fleet, I don't have equipment to put into a new car, and I also have to I just have to get a radio, lights, and a siren for the drug investigator's car, so that, all that money would come out of that
Okay.
extra cost. And again, I believe we had $18,100 in that police reserve account, so part of that money, obviously could pay that $4,900 for the lease vehicle for the year, and then that other part of that money could be used for offsetting the cost of the outfitting it.
Brenda, can we use that money for operations? Yes?
Yes.
Just want to make sure that wasn't
So you want to expend the rest of your,
Well, what'll end up happening is that once those two new vehicles are in the fleet, we'll get rid of this other car, then we'll put that money back into that account, so it'll build itself back up again.
okay.
So the 15,000 though, you're asking to be put into the budget?
Correct.
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay. Are you looking for formal action now, or what are you?
Yeah, whatever you want to as a finance committee, come out with a recommendation after, and then council can, look at it again. We'll make note at the council meeting what changes were made at this meeting.
This will not go back into the regular finance committee meeting.
No. So you'll make a recommendation out of the special meeting, which your recommendation is on the budget, and then if the council wants to make any other adjustments, they can do that at the regular meeting. Anybody?
Well, I'll move we approve what he's requesting, and the numbers to be,
So we would add, it would be on your expenditure summary page, because it would go from 70 to 85,000. That's in section 7. It's the one page in section 7.
yeah.
The capital outlay down towards the bottom, it says police squad vehicles. That'll go from 70 to 85.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion second. Discussion?
What, is a motion for 19.9 or 15?
Just the 15. Marty's gonna take the 4,900 out of the police car reserve, whatever it's called.
Okay, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
The only other specific thing I had was the request, you had made a recommendation on one of the increases for one of the account clerks of one step. She had asked for 2. If you want to reconsider it, we can do that in closed session later. If you don't want to reconsider it, you can leave it as is. It's up to you.
Didn't you explain the reasoning the last meeting when we decided not to go?
Yeah, but I said I would bring it back to you. I said I would do that. But,
I don't know if it wouldn't hurt to talk about it again.
okay. All right, well, then we can do a
Move
closed
for a
session
closed
later.
session.
But I do have a question I'd like to bring up.
Yep.
Either after or before.
Those are the only 2 things I had specifically that we needed to address.
About the outside investigator and whether we're gonna go inside or hire outside. You wanna do that now or later? or when?
That doesn't even necessarily have to be unless you are opposed to putting it in the budget if it's done one way or the other.
No.
But what the recommendation that came out, I believe, out of finance was that you would approve the money and then you'd work with Marty because you wanted to put together some benchmarks,
Yeah,
so that can be done at a future
I'm
date.
okay with the money, I'd like to talk further about the,
And that can be done at a future
Process.
date as well.
sounds good.
Yep. Because you, like I said, you did want to talk about benchmarks as well, correct, before our actual hire was made? Okay. Okay. So I don't know if there's any other, Randy said you had a few
I got
questions.
a couple quick questions, but it shouldn't take too long here. Just anything over 10 grand caught my eye, like in,
Sure.
Which section?
I am starting in section 8, page 1, under information and technology.
Yeah.
There's an increase of 12,400 in the management.
Yep. Maintenance agreements, Mike had come in and explained that.
Yep,
what he
I just
needed
want to
for-
make sure that that was the number and finalized.
Yep.
So an overall increase of 16,829.
Right, I mean, there was a little bit increase with the wage and with the health insurance, but the bulk of it was the increase in the maintenance agreements, which Mike went through with you at the meeting.
Yep, and then the First Street building on page 2
Okay,
of First Street building,
okay.
wages jump,
Well, if you'll look, Randy, the part-time went away.
Okay,
So the part-time, he was working 30 hours a week, he went up to 40 hours a week.
so we changed that to full-time.
We changed that, went to full-time when we did the transition after Pat O'Keefe left.
Yeah.
So he's now doing the entire building. Previously, he was just doing the library, correct, Marty? Yes.
It just jumped out.
Right, and the individual.
Overall, it's a decrease.
And the individual that was here, the intent was, we weren't sure with Ward Avenue or any other buildings, and the individual we have here then will, and if we get any new buildings, then we'll assign him to those buildings.
Okay. And then in the clerk treasurer, you answered my question.
Okay?
And I don't know if anybody saw that's a $19,000.
And the reason was, when we budgeted in 16, first page of clerk treasurer,
First page of clerk treasurer, still treasurer.
it's still in that,
Which section?
that same section. We're all in section 8.
Section 8.
Section 8, okay.
Your
So
section.
we're kind of going from front to back, Tom.
Gotcha. Okay, what page?
Randy had asked about the salary and wages full-time when we had budgeted in 16. The budget amount we put in was less than what we ended up hiring our finance officer with. So that's why there's a difference between 16 and 17.
Okay. Moving right along quickly here. On the municipal insurance, we had a great decrease in $20,000. What was
Workers'
that?
comp, our modification number, which is what, that would be our number no matter who we had for a carrier. And because we had some of our larger claims, after
Fall
5
off.
years, they fall off. So we had a big drop. We went from 1.2 to 0.98 this year. So we had a big drop. So that is reflected in the,
So that's nice. Yep. And then under the fire department, I'm assuming most of it's the request of the personnel, but we were
well, you have,
95,000.
the reason is, the main increase is that you've approved from part-time to full-time for the fire inspector. That was a recommendation. And you have 2 more people going on the health insurance that were not on it last year. So if you look at the very end under administration, the very
Yeah.
last page on page 5, you'll see it went from 25.8 to 64.7.
Yeah. But why was it increase in 22,000 for fire suppression? What was that increase?
I gotta get there, Randy.
On page 1 of the fire department summary.
Fire suppression. And then I'll pull down to where it was. There was an increase, that includes the capital equipment, and there was an increase of 23,000. That's on the, I'm trying to think, must be the 3rd or 4th.
It's on 3, 22,800 for capital equipment.
Right, it went from 40,200 to
63.
63,000. And that would have been delineated in his budget request.
Okay, so
And anything in the fire department, it's probably a 55-45 split between the city and the
right.
partners.
And then in the police department, the increase, I'm assuming, was the 158,000 was for the inspection.
The investigator's a good portion of it, and the other thing is that we have a lot of younger officers now who are moving, not only are they getting whatever they get in the
Step
union
increases.
contract, they're moving up to step. We have 5 officers that'll all be moving up. So it's a combination of those 2 things.
So, and then their health insurance went up because of that?
Well, the health insurance actually went down a little bit.
Well,
Well, from maybe the new page that went in, are you looking under patrol or?
administration
Oh, administration.
went up 20,000.
Under administration, I show 5,000 increase. Oh, the total? You've got,
Total.
yeah, you've got wages and then the health insurance. Your retirement went up. For the police department, the retirement percentage went about 1.5%.
Okay,
So all of the police retirement, but I think it was 1% or 1.5%. For the regular employees, it went up 0.2%. And that's set by the state, so that's kind of out of our control.
and then briefly, obviously, police criminal investigation, that's
The bulk of it is the new position, yes.
right. And then Public Works got a $15,000 increase, and street lighting went up.
Let's see here.
Because we had
1,000, well, it was brought, the year before, it was 100 and,
31.
yeah, but in prior years, like if you're looking 15, the total was 166.
Right, but it should be going down as we keep changing out lights, right? Or is that equipment?
Let me get to that page, Randy.
I mean, we're making the investment.
Well, there's 1,800 of it is in personnel, in our personnel.
Coming out of street lighting,
Yeah.
so it's operation.
Right, the utility bills, we have going down $5,000.
We've already done all the lights.
Yeah.
All of them are done?
So we're decreasing it by 115 to 110, and then hopefully then the following year, we'll be able to knock it down some more.
Okay, and then the last one, you've got a 20,000 on page 11 of 18 under Public Works Street Maintenance. A $20,000, and it was not budgeted for, it was a miscellaneous contract.
Under street maintenance,
Public Works Street Maintenance,
Okay.
page 11 of 18.
I don't have page numbers, Randy, so that's why I'm miscellaneous
It's under
service contract.
contractual services, we didn't have anything.
Yep, let me look. Debbie, I'm sure, has an explanation on that.
See, some people go through this.
I had all the same questions.
You want account number?
No, I see it. It's 'cause supplies, motor fuels, 290, 53300. Oh, what that is it's a contingency fund. They moved money out of motor fuels. It's a contingency fund if they have, for example, center line painting, intersection painting, fuel increases, just for contractual things related. They took $10,000 out of, there was a fuel contingency.
Yeah, but we've never budgeted for it last.
Right, so what we've had to do, and I'm just reading what Deb here, is what they've had to do in the past is they've had to take the money from other spots in the budget.
But you have other contractual services budgeted for 27,000.
Right, this is for the unexpected things. This is more, it's more of a contingency
What's
within the
the-
public works budget.
Then what's the other for, right underneath that?
I would have to pull up, without having an account in front of me, I'd have to,
You good?
contractual services for street
It
maintenance.
would be actual expenses that they're experiencing. It's not a contingency.
Under other
Other
or?
contractual.
Under other.
Yeah, the 20 was a contingency.
I mean, I don't know exactly what's in there, Randy, without
Right,
looking,
okay.
because we spent whatever, this 21.9 was spent in 2015. So, I mean, I can certainly find out and email
It
it
just
to you.
looks odd. There's $20,000 also.
Well, what they're doing is they're adding a contingency within street maintenance for things that come up that are unexpected.
You mean signs?
Yeah.
Well, it could be signs, it could be center line painting, it could be things that, they end up having to tear up part of a street because of a water main,
Oh,
breakdown or something, and then they have to, that's what Deb has in here, as the reason for that.
just a little information more would be nice. I mean, it's not a big deal, but.
Thanks.
It's a new thing. And they kept, some of it's public safety related, like we add or take out a sign or,
Right.
Yeah. But like you said, a little more detail, but I know we talked about it, at least at Public Works, that having this would make it a little bit easier rather than having to shuffle all the time during the course of the year.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything? All right, so we entertain a motion then to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Moving seconded to go into closed session. Do I need to say this pursuant to,
Yeah, you do.
motion second to go into closed session, for possible action on entering into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 sub 1 sub C to develop 2017 budget recommendation for any staff reclassification, salary, wage, and benefit adjustments for current city employees. Take a roll.
Hackett,
Yes.
Morissette.
Yes.
McCormick,
Yes.
O'Connor.
Yes. Okay, so, yeah, we can go over there. You guys can stay here.
You guys can stay, we'll go over to the mayor's office. Okay, thanks, John.
Okay, I'd just like to recommend that we keep the per capita library contribution the same as last year. If we do 2657 per capita using the 2016 population figures, we would go to 360,927. That would be a $13,617 increase over the proposed, and it would be a $4,896 increase over the 2016 funding. I hate to see the library going backwards. And if you look, the average county per capita support is $30.34, and we're going down to $25.57. So this would mean another dollar per person for the budget.
Why?
Well, get my. If you look at the, I didn't make copies of this, but for example, what the state recommends for basic services for an area our size, a full-time staff of 15, we've got 11.25. Now, we don't have room for more volumes, but we've got, they recommend 59 hours, we've got 53. The only area that we are actually above basic is the number of public use computers. We've actually got 22, and moderate level service is 20. Our library is underfunded. Our library is a reflection of the community. It's we've got a good community. We want to make sure that our community is well represented. We're the visible partner in the municipal library. The other partners are not as visible as we are, and we need to maintain the library.
My question was, why do you want the money, other than this explanation? Has there been some specific need that's been brought up that's unmet?
Well, I think that it would be up to the library board to decide how that money would be spent, but there are unmet needs, like more hours, more volumes, more personnel.
So there's no specific reason for it, just kind of a general?
General, yes.
Mayor, where are we at with their budget? Did it come in at a zero balance?
No, it's gonna be, well, the budget itself proposed for 2017 is gonna come in a bit of a deficit. It's not gonna be enormous, it'll be under a $10,000 deficit. That deficit is going to be taken up by, it was just announced by the Friends of the Library that they're gonna contribute $10,000. The foundation, and as indicated with the report that I made last week, has stepped up and contributed about $20,000 for the current year. They are on course to increase that next year, and of course they're going through the annual funding process right now. And with the annual drive, we're expecting that will outpace last year. You know, well, does that answer your question?
It does. I'm just trying to find that magic number to zero balance it.
Yeah. All right.
No one wants to get rid of the library, no one wants to close it, so we need to deal with it as an entity of the city of Hudson now. And so if we can get it to the closest zero balance we can, we should probably do that. And I don't know what that number would be right now, because you're talking about probables, or the money's not there yet.
Right.
I guess that's, and I don't think 356 would not do that, right? Last year's amount?
Well, it's figured into the 2017 budget. Frankly, I'm comfortable with the budget where it's at.
Okay.
If I weren't, I'd be here asking for more money for the
Okay.
library. I think that there are a number of things that we need to consider. Frankly, I mean, when you think about it, circulation is down. It's down considerably across the board, not just here, but I mean, that's the trend everywhere. Our number of visits are up, which is a good thing, but people in fact are using electronic more than print. And, you know, I guess I go to were you gonna say something?
Is the cost of electronic going up? Or are we paying more because we're
You know,
using more electronic
we
books?
just put a significant amount of money into technology not long ago, so I think the cost is, you know, of the equipment is probably going down. There are certain things that are coming in that are gonna be, that are budgeted for, that are brand new, the Space Maker.
Yeah, but
place.
I'm asking about electronic books, so, you know,
Oh,
the ones that you check out through Overdrive. Is the cost of that going up next year?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
So the 30,000 we increased, you're comfortable with? And Joyce, are you aware of that? We did that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, yeah, I am. No, so here's the thing, I mean, you know this, at any time that we make an increase, we're going to increase the 3-year average, the way the law is right now. And I'm nervous about committing us to that when we may not need it, especially, I mean, Joyce has pointed out, our partners haven't been able to keep pace with us, there's no doubt about it. They've got their backs against the wall on a couple of them on the levy limits. And they are communities that have been very supportive of the library. Sitting in on the finance meetings, the budget meetings at the library board, there is no immediate need that has been expressed where we're shy of money. Nobody, you know, Tina has not said, boy, we really need to have this in our library. You know, and this is where, keep in mind that when we are behind the per capita, like for the county, it's because the law has built in annual increases for each of these, compelling each of these for their exempt amount, and we don't have that built in. Nobody has really stopped to question whether those increases are necessary. It's just the law. And here, in this situation, we actually had to retrench, and because we were not, you know the history, our accounting, people were signing off on the exempt amount that they shouldn't have been signing off on because it wasn't keeping pace with what was required by law, which gave the library an opportunity to look internally and say, you know, what do we need? What can we cut? What are our actual needs? Not just, hey, we got money, let's spend it, or we don't have money, and what are we gonna do? They, you know, and I right now, I think we've got a great library. I think it's very efficient. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a lot of local government aid coming our way like they do in River Falls, but we don't, you know. Do we need the additional 6 hours that is suggested by the state? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's arguable, but where would it be? Sundays? Maybe open a little earlier in the morning. But I haven't heard that need expressed over there at the library by our library director. And again, the same with the staffing. I mean, I kind of rail at these averages because that's meaningless to me. So how are we doing compared to the average? I think our library is above average. I think the efficiency is way above average, and I think that we've got a great library, and I think it's serving us well with the funding level that we've got. And it is based upon, I mean, future, like you said, Randy, is based upon some probables, but we need to let this public-private partnership work out that we have with the foundation. They've come a long way, and they've beefed up the number of people that they have, and they're very active in raising money, and they're very passionate about making sure our library is funded well. So that's my take on it. I don't think that we need it right now.
I don't know if it's germane to this conversation, but does the library have like a 5-year plan where, with the new librarian, Tina starts looking at, you know, does the 6 hours make a difference? Does that help with circulation? Or, you know, I mean, it is, I won't say unusual, but to fund something where the money could become a surplus, but if it's not really going towards anything, is that just kind of ambiguous
You know,
revenue, I guess is.
Let me also add, by the way, if I may.
Sure.
We're on course right now to finish this year with a $40,000 surplus, which coincidentally is the amount of money that was provided by the city in addition to the 5% last year. Okay, so again, it's, you know, it's the inner workings of the staff. You know, that's put us on, I think, a very viable course.
So how will that 40,000 be used? Is it being
Figured into the
rolled
budget.
into the new,
Yeah.
new
yeah,
budget?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And I, you know, believe me, Joyce, I really appreciate what you're doing there, because obviously I'm a big advocate for the library. I've sat on the board for, you know, through all this transition and everything, and Joyce and I had a conversation earlier. I don't want to say that we've turned the corner at the library, but we're at the corner, and we're about to turn. I feel very comfortable with where we're at. I think Tina has done a fantastic job, and I think that we need to give the foundation an opportunity to show us what they can do, and they've already stepped up, and they've got more money there that they can contribute, so.
I mean, it is possible in the future that they could say, oh my God, we've completely miscalculated and we need more money. It's
Yeah,
always possible, right? I mean.
sure, absolutely.
So,
But to your question, John, is there a 5-year plan out there? We do have the strategic plan. Remember last week, I presented this
Oh, yeah.
update on the strategic plan. I can say that goes 5 years. It did at first, so we're probably in our, you know, first or second year of that strategic plan right now. And so, yeah, we do have a model of what we're working toward, and we're improving services on a regular basis. It's not like we're just keeping up. We're actually moving ahead.
Okay.
Thanks, Joyce. Is there any action anybody want to take on that?
No.
Okay. Where are we at?
Well, then if everybody's ready with this, what I'll do is I'll go back and make the change to the appropriation ordinance for the regular meeting with the 15,000 increase you approved and you can close this meeting and you can do the regular finance. Hopefully
Okay.
get it done in, whatever, 8 minutes.
All right,
All right.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
second.
Okay, we'll move the second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. We'll move right into the next one. Yep. Okay, so we will call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Yep. Claims? No, I'm sorry, minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second?
Okay, minutes are moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Claims?
Claims this evening are $969,549.58.
Move to approve the claims.
Second?
Claims are moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion, possible action on regular operators licenses.
This evening, you're asked to recommend approval contingent on payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city and successful completion of the background check, the issuance of 2 regular operator licenses for the period November 22nd, 2016 to June 30th, 2018 to Alexis Schaff and John Marino.
Second.
Okay, motion second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on wastewater budget adjustment.
I move to approve the budget transfer of the wastewater funds.
The reason being what?
A pump went out and needed to basically,
Expected repairs?
Emergency repairs.
yeah, and it's necessary at that place. And when the pump goes, you need a new one.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on White Camp Park change order. Tom?
Good evening. During the construction of the Universal Park at White Camp Park, some unforeseen circumstances came up with the grading and construction of that project. The original award of the contract was to Zappa Brothers for $159,564. Due to the change orders for the extra grading and removal of some extra pathways and curbing came to $18,563.84. Staff recommendation is to approve the change order in the amount of, excuse me, I got two different numbers here, 19,563. One's a typo, I don't know if it's 18,000 or 19,000.
I'll move to approve the change order
I believe it's 18,000.
in the amount of $18,563.84.
And funds would come from Park Trust Fund B, possibly.
Okay, those funds.
I'll second, but the work's been done, right?
Yes, I mean, when this issue came up, I talked to the mayor and Devin, and I said we had to make a decision to get the project completed.
Sure.
And we were at just a standstill and at that point, and we had to act to get things going, so.
What was the unexpected circumstance?
My take? Too many fingers and many people stirring the pot. We went over this situation with, when we bid this out, most of the times with that game time, it's a project that they bid out through the U.S. communities. The city and state statutes does not allow, apparently, the U.S. communities to do the whole project. We had an engineering firm do this, we had another construction outfit do this, and then the game time people came in and things didn't line. Every apparatus that's in that playground has to have a specific height. And, there was too many fingers pointing, it just didn't work out.
So it was that,
I don't think it was anyone's fault.
no, I'm not looking for
It
fault,
wasn't
I'm
any-
just looking for an explanation. It's because they had to change the way they were putting the equipment on the ground?
I think the basic thing, if I learned something from this, is that we tried to fit this particular playground in kind of a football. If we're gonna do another playground, I'd put it on a parking lot, a flat parking lot. You know what I mean? Every piece of slide and thing has to have a certain height, and we tried to put it in this concave area where the existing playground was. We tried to, be frugal and use what we had, and it was tough. We went at it several different times. We dug out this and dug out that, and finally we just came to the conclusion that we put it in, and then there was some extra grading afterwards to make everything work.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. And I think overall, everything turned out really, really good, but it was quite a project.
But it's
Thanks,
done.
Tom.
Done, yes, it is.
Done.
John?
I'm good.
Is there a motion?
Yep.
Is there a motion
There
and a
was a-
second?
Oh, is there a
There was-
motion and second?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
already,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay. All right, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Tom. Discussion possible action on annual contract with Animal Humane Society.
The Animal Humane Society out of Woodbury is in the event that our animal control officer has strays, that's who we take them to. And this is just the annual contract allowing us to take them over there. They bill us as appropriate for the animals that, if an individual claims an animal, they pay the fees. If an animal is not claimed, then the city pays the fees. So we've had this contract, I think, for 3-4 years now.
I'll move we approve it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
This paragraph keeps sticking in my head. There's now 4 days if the animal has a live release. Wisconsin has changed its policy, I guess. 7 days if euthanized, I guess I don't understand.
Live release, it's either adopted out to a home or the owners picked it up. It's alive.
Okay.
The other is at 7 days.
Okay.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Items for future agendas? Nothing? Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Adjournment is moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Stand adjourned. Thanks.